Ladies and gentlemen, the offense has been frustrating for the past 2 weeks on the Buffalo Bills side of things. And I have a theory. I think it is correct because at the end of the day, sports analysis is just educated speculation, right? Nobody has the answers. Nobody has a bug in the office of our GM and or coaching staff, but you can end up looking at signs. You can look at the history of how this coaching staff has operated, and I think I have a pretty good theory. It's frustrating, but at the exact same time, I believe that it's something that should make us feel encouraged once the bye week is all said and done. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy this video. And perhaps after this, like, most recent L has sunk in, I feel like I'm over it for the most part. I'm not as much as a like fire everybody type mentality, at least not as bad as I was yesterday or after Sunday night. But I think this has tracks. I really, really do. And I hope that by the time that you leave this episode, you're feeling a bit better about the future of this Buffalo Bills offense. I think that we all agree our defense is our defense, and we could just expect exactly what we can get out of them each and every single week. Folks, as you're coming in, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up sign for me. It's the easiest way to show some love over here on this channel. I want to propel this out to the YouTube algorithm so we can invite even more people into our live chat community. As many of you know, I am live Monday through Friday in the mornings at about 10:15. And in order for us to recruit even more to our family, we got to go on ahead, all right, and hit that thumbs up sign. And then also, as you know, I'm nosy. I want to see how far everybody is stretched across the globe. What corner of the United States and or the world are you located in right now? It's roll call time on the chat. Do not be shy. I'm talking to the lurkers in the building as well. Go on ahead and let me know where you are tuning in from. I need to go on ahead and give a giant shout out to one of our proud partners today, folks, and that just so happens to be William Matar. Folks, if you are ever hurt in a car, you got to call William Matar, #1 car accident attorney in the state of New York. Obviously, I would not wish a car accident on anybody, but say that it does happen, you know, you need to make sure you have the right representation and look no further than my pal William, all right? The phone number is on the screen, 444-4444. Ingrain that in your minds, and I hope that you don't have to go through with it, but at least you have a quality resource in William Matar. I also need to give a giant shout out to our good friend Sleeper, folks. Sleeper, hands down, the #1 player prop platform on the market today. I've seen a lot of you already download it. You've actually told me in the live chat already. And why wouldn't you? Because right now they are giving you a free $20 just for signing up. If you are a player prop parlay savant, you might as well go on ahead and add one more to your repertoire. And if you decide to put down a deposit, they're matching it up to close to 100%, all the way up to $100, man. Shout out to Sleeper for being a proud partner of this channel. And let's go on ahead and get into business, man. All right, dude. Where's everyone located right now? Let's see what everybody is. Guys, do not be shy. Roll call in the chat. I'm interested to see where everybody is tapping in from. We got Chattanooga in the building. What is going on? Lackawanna, Chattanooga, Tennessee is in the building. Long Island, New York, Allentown, Pennsylvania, Arkansas. Go Bills. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Good morning, Dan. Stody. We have Axel with his typical Damar Hamlin should be starting. I think that Axel is just waiting for me to give a very sincere belly laugh to this statement. Like, my boy has been shooting this joke around like he's a professional comedian touring the United States, thinking that he has a brand new audience each and every single evening. I mean, dude, you know what? Just keep trying. Just keep trying. Maybe one of these days you're going to get the reaction I need out of that, you know? But shout out to Axel. He's a Chiefs fan. He's very lazy with his joke telling, but we love him over here. Dave in Denver is in the building. How you doing, man? Springfield, Massachusetts is in the building. Webster, New York. Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Good morning, Dan. I'm over this loss. Let's move on to the Carolina Panthers. I feel like I'm getting there as well. Jay from upstate New York. Bronx, New York. South Alabama, championship country. New England is in the building. Morning, Dan. How you doing, man? Hope all is well. David Waltz. Most of the issues come from route concepts when the pressure comes. Watch the one interception, no receiver 5 to 10 yards. If Allen, all routes were further downfield, have Shakir run shallow crosses over more than often. Michelle from Pennsylvania is in the building. Michelle, how you doing? So I'm glad that David ended up bringing up the film because I had an opportunity of unpacking the All-22 late afternoon. And yes, it did look bad, right? It certainly did. You're starting off by seeing Josh Allen sort of revert back to his 2019 season where he was really trying to find the big play downfield. And what has made him so good and why he won an MVP last year largely had to do with the fact that he took everything that the defense gave him. Now, you'll probably hear like people come in and say, oh, Dan, our wide receivers are not getting open. Not the case, folks. Not the case whatsoever. Several drives where you saw Josh Allen attempting to look downfield, you saw one or two playmakers wide open underneath. Granted, it was about 3 to 4 yards from the line of scrimmage. However, we saw Josh Allen bail on the pocket and attempt to hunt down that big play. What made this Buffalo Bills offense so efficient last year, and what made this Buffalo Bills offense so efficient was this Bills team took exactly what the defense ended up giving them, right? Like if, for example, nobody was open downfield, guess what? Had a wide open guy in the flat, had a wide open guy 4 to 5 yards from the line of scrimmage in the middle by itself. And Buffalo took advantage of that. And they ended up really relying on their guys to get yards after the catch. It's funny because a lot of people, right? Like a lot of people toward the first 4 weeks of the season, several of you in my chat would come in and say, Dan, man, holy hell, I really want Josh Allen to start stretching the ball downfield. We just don't have the wide receivers to do it. Oh, folks, I mean, look, you got what you wish for. In the past 2 weeks, that's been a lot of that. And we are ignoring guys that are literally staring Josh Allen in his face, right? And he's bailing out of the pocket. He's looking for the big play downfield. He's not taking what the defense gives him. So last week, I would probably put a lot on Josh, right? I would. Next up, I have this. And this is my true theory. I'm working with it, and I really believe that this is the case. And I'm really frustrated with this. But I can't find another answer that makes sense. All we can do is speculate. All we can do is speculate at this point. Why is an offensive coordinator who has been known to be wildly creative when it comes into play calling throughout his entire tenure in Buffalo, why is he refusing to execute a tush push on 3rd and 1? Why is he failing to rely on the run game when it is clearly working? Why are we seeing these back-to-back-to-back end arounds 3 weeks in a row from a litany of different playmakers out on the field? Why have we walked away from taking what the defense gives us and really attacking the underneath of the field? It's one reason and one reason only. Joe Brady and this coaching staff are doing this on purpose. They are trying to take a page out of the Kansas City Chiefs playbook where they play as conservative as humanly possible, where they try to put things on tape that don't really make sense, hoping that they can find something new that could be implemented, perhaps something that's still in their infant stages, so that they can save it all for the playoffs. They are trying to be the Kansas City Chiefs. That is exactly the only thing that makes sense in my mind. Because last week, when you saw James Cook being as efficient as he was out on the ground last evening, or Monday Night Football, like, dude had a great game. 17 carries, well over 80. Say that you were to give him 3 more, he probably would have ultimately ended up crashing 100. Like, you have a defense in Atlanta that is significantly undersized, and you ultimately end up seeing James Cook not be utilized in key situations. Another one, third and short situations where very oftentimes you saw Joe Brady go back to back to back tush pushes to get it done in those short yardage situations. Very rarely does Josh Allen get stopped in those tush push situations. Why it has not been implemented? I think it's the only reason, as into why this offense has taken a bit of a lull. So once the Buffalo Bills ultimately end up getting into the Carolina Panthers side of things, I think Buffalo is going to have to throw that strategy out the window. I genuinely do. Because you notice a difference in the DNA of what made this offense run. Because, folks, I hate to tell you, but we have the exact same offense as last year. Like, with Josh Palmer is the sort of like Amari Cooper, like, rated this team, although he wasn't, like, he hasn't been targeted, right? You have Elijah Moore, who is the same type of player as Matt Collins. Like, this is the exact same offense. It's the exact same offense as far as skill players. Like, we are not going to see a significant drop off from losing out on Amari Cooper, who barely played last year, and Matt Collins, who barely played last year. Who did, but like he had like 300 yards. Like you are not going to see that significant of a drop off. So the only thing that makes all the sense in the world is that this is purposeful. This is the Buffalo Bills going into each and every single game with the false notion of looking at our schedule and saying, hey, like, we have a pretty favorable schedule going into this season. How about the game script is just walking away with the win? Because the playoffs is our true white whale. The playoffs is where things just don't particularly go our way. So how about we save a little bit? How about we end up confusing teams down the stretch and then get back to what we do well once these games have a bit more purpose? Like, that's literally what I'm seeing. That's literally what I'm saying. I highly doubt that, like, we see our offensive line regress that bad. Like, yes, I understand that Atlanta ended up going on ahead and blitzing way more than Josh has seen in quite some time. 60% of the snaps a blitz was coming in. But you just can't tell me. That this is just a significant regression with less than a year. It just doesn't happen where our players are at their ages. So in my opinion, I genuinely believe that this is purposeful. And I think this strategy is terrible. And I think that we need to get back into what we do well. And I believe that we start that against the Carolina Panthers. That is my situation. Everyone settled down yet? Ian, I believe so. All right, guys, let's go on ahead and get into the question and statement portion of the show. As always, in order to make it easier for me, please label each and every single entry with either a Q and or an S if you would like me to react to it on screen. 324 of you are in the building right now. 168 of you are on YouTube. I'm going to need you to hit that thumbs up sign, folks. There should be 168 like buttons hit if there's 168 people watching the show. Let's propel this out to the YouTube algorithm, because more people that come in here, the better the conversation gets. We have Weston saying it's not a strategy because there's only one team that has the horses to hold stuff back. I'm not saying that the Buffalo Bills have the horses like that, but I'm saying that the Buffalo Bills are attempting to run that strategy. I'm not saying that it's the right strategy, but I'm sitting here trying to diagnose exactly what is wrong. And what I'm seeing is an offensive play caller who has been known to run a very well-balanced attack, somebody that likes to take what the defense gives him, somebody that likes to lean into the run game, and he hasn't been doing it. Why? Why has that gone out the window? It's got to be purposeful. It has to be purposeful. I don't believe that Joe Brady is that unintelligent. I don't believe it's got to be purposeful. It's just how it is. Statement. I've seen reports that the Patriots have acquired about wide receiver Brown from Philly. If this happens, we are cooked at this point. I'd give a number one pick just to stop them from getting him. Look, so the New England Patriots have been looking very good this year. They really, really have. However, they have a big problem establishing the run. Massive problem establishing the run. They need to fix that. Need to fix that. Say that they don't, then I think once they end up going up against more credible defenses, I promise you, in 2 weeks when they go up against the Cleveland Browns, I think that is going to be a very ugly offensive game for the New England Patriots. I really do. That is going to be their biggest challenge thus far. But without establishing a run game, even with A.J. Brown out on the outside and that offensive line, I think that there's going to be some problems here. All of their wins have been in a dome this year. Penix is a perfect weather type quarterback. Games like in Green Bay, he will struggle. I'm not particularly concerned about any NFC team. It has zero weight on the Buffalo Bills. Josh needs to stop wearing that visor. It's messing with his vision. I'm not particularly sure that it is the visor. It's more so he's hunting down the big play, right? And I think a lot of it has to do with Joe Brady wanting the Buffalo Bills to kind of go away from what their DNA is. He's bailing out of the pocket. He's not taking guys underneath. Because, guys, look, like, I know that all of us want a wide receiver that creates great separation downfield, but it's not like that there isn't opportunities. There is always a guy open underneath. Always a guy open underneath. And we just don't have the horses that have that. So we had the same problem last year. We have had the same problem last year, but we were still able to have one of the best offensive productions in franchise history. And that was because we took what the defense gave us. That's not going to change. Funny enough, man, damn, a lot of people were pissed off that the Bills didn't stretch the field. And for the first 4 weeks out of the season, I'm sure they are walking back their statement. Bills voted for the tush push ban, so they probably think they're better than that now. I mean, really, I think that you just need to put pride aside at this point. I really do. Do what works. And the tush push, for the most part, works. Make it work. And there's only one team that can legitimately do that. It's been proven. It's been proven. How do I give Josh Palmer my ankle? I don't know, man. I don't know. Please consult with the physician. Sorry, we are way too predictable. Lockman 6072. I feel like that's a throwaway statement. Like, there are opportunities. So there are opportunities, right? We have a great run game, and we don't focus on the run game this year for some reason. We have guys wide open underneath. Always have a check down. Always have somebody. It's like teams are taking away the big play, but we're still hunting down the big play. It's not so much about predictability. Last year we were predictable. But the thing was that we just ended up taking those opportunities. That the defense was like, here you go. And the wide receivers ended up doing it all. It's not particularly about Brady going out there. So, because number one, say that you're bought into that, just look at the 3 straight end around plays that have been called for the past 3 weeks. I would hardly call that predictable at this point, because I'm still shocked that we would try to lock it in here. That's one of the big keys to beating Buffalo or any other team. Get the QB on the ground. Such an intelligent statement. Dirty Dan, question. Dan, when do you think we will make a trade if we do? I would say probably closer to the deadline. I feel like at this point, I think the move is wide receiver, especially if Josh Palmer is truly week to week. We will see. Yes, take what the defense gives you. Also, sometimes Allen has been holding it too long or leaving the pocket too soon, but not to have hot reads on more plays. Knowing the other team is bringing mad pressure is unconscionable. Use Cook more, especially in the passing game. We are using him a ton in the first 4 games. Then it was a drop-off, which is, you can't assume that Joe Brady lost 20 IQ points from 2024 to 2025. It's so obvious, what this team can do in order to get back to where they were in 2024. We basically have the exact same team. It's just been this team trying to walk away from what made them successful last year on purpose. I genuinely believe that that's the strategy over here in Buffalo. I hate the strategy, but I can't think of any other reason. I can't think of any other reason. It's not like guys aren't open. They are. It's weird. If we can't get Olave from New Orleans, they can look at Rashid Shaheed. He's elite at getting separation and one of the better deep ball threats in the league. So with Chris Olave, he's about a concussion away from retiring. And when you bring him to Buffalo, who is no stranger to having some big issues on the injury front, I'm not sure I'm willing to roll the dice there. Like maybe Olave would have a couple of good games, but then if he finds himself on the injury report, I'm going to be absolutely pissed off. It's just how it is. You know what I mean? Shaheed, sure, but we'll see. I think you're dreaming about holding back. Well, Bobby, I was able to unpack the film, and so I was able to look at how this Buffalo Bills operated from last year. And I think this is a more reasonable take than me just suggesting that Joe Brady has lost 20 IQ points and has no idea what he's doing. All of a sudden, miraculously, when he came from one of the most creative offensive play callers in the league from 2024, fast forwarded to 2025, that's a hell of a lot more unbelievable than Buffalo making this a part of the game script. Like looking at the big picture, it's not crazy. Like what's crazy is that Joe Brady's looking at this offense and seeing how productive James Cook is being and just saying, nah, I'm not going to use him. Or rather than going with the tush push on short yardage downs, he's going to go on ahead and be creative about this play on purpose. That right there is a hell of a lot more unbelievable to me than Buffalo not making this a part of their game plan. I'm not saying this is a good game plan. I am encouraging that we get back to what made us so successful last year. Hopefully things change. And do you think that there is anything we can do to improve this run defense before the playoffs? Look, how I look at this defense is it is the defense. Like, guys, for the past 3 weeks, so the Buffalo Bills have caused either a punt and or a turnover on 33% of their drives. That's right in line with the Denver Broncos for the past 3 weeks. I'm not saying that this Buffalo Bills defense is a top 5 unit. They're not. They have their struggles. They are toward the bottom of the league for EPA when it comes into run defense. I would probably have to say a lot of it has to do with those crazy-ass runs that Bijan Robinson and Derrick Henry have put out on the field or put out on tape against this team that has completely skyrocketed this thing. But we are not one player away from fixing all of the issues on the defensive side of the football. We're not. Right? Like, we are not one player away from this. It is a long and arduous process to get this defense where the Buffalo Bills' expectations need to be right now. But we held the Falcons to 3 points in the second half last week. We held the Patriots to 6 points in the second half 2 weeks ago. As far as I'm concerned, this defense is doing their job. It's not a top 5 unit. But when you look at this Buffalo Bills offense, who has had that moniker of being able to regularly put up 30 points, yeah. And so if I were to tell you that this Buffalo Bills team was going to hold the Atlanta Falcons to 24 points, let's imagine it was August. Like, let's imagine that it was August and I were to come up on this stream and say, hey, guys, I'm not going to tell you how many points the Buffalo Bills are going to score on the offensive side of the football, but I will tell you that the New England Patriots score 23 and the Atlanta Falcons score 24. I feel like everybody in here would have been, oh, yeah, that's a win. And so we know this Buffalo Bills team at bare minimum is scoring 28. And that's on a bad day. It's more of an offensive issue. It's just kind of how I look at it, man. You know what I mean? Get Brady out of his ivory tower and put him back on the sideline for a reality check. Big Daddy D. It's my guy right there. Good morning, Dirty Dan, Greer, South Carolina. Dude, this offense is extremely frustrating still. Please give me some down and dirty information on the offense. Well, I'll tell you what, man. There are opportunities. Like we had an opportunity of being able to really incorporate James Cook against the Falcons this past Monday night. Was running the ball super efficiently, and we didn't, right? We had a couple of opportunities to utilize the tush push. It was not used. I thought some of those really good third and short situations Buffalo found themselves in, they could have done a tush push, gone back-to-back tush pushes if necessary. We didn't use it. I think that with Josh Allen, right? Like he's not taking these underneath plays, which are always available, folks. And the check down is always available for this offense. 9 times out of 10, there is somebody wide open underneath or wide open in the flat. He's hunting down that big play. He's trying to force the ball into double coverage. He's putting way too much faith in Keon Coleman. Like outside of the first game against Baltimore and with Keon Coleman, he's not doing too hot, folks. He's not doing too hot. He's supposed to be our 50-50 like ball guy. He's 51st in the league for contested catch situations so far through 6 games of the season. I don't think he's your dude. Like once Dalton Kincaid comes back, I think he's wide receiver number 1. He's that guy. That's my question, at least. The burning question is, since it's the bye week, are you working on the bench press max? Dan Mitchell for strong safety. Ooh, man. You want me to get out of here, dude? Dude, you know what, man? As soon as when I hit 315, I just kind of stopped trying to max. Like that was just like that benchmark I had to hit last year. Like now on chest day, man, and so I'm just repping 225. Yeah, I'm just repping it now. I haven't maxed in quite a bit, and so I'm 34 years old. I don't want to pull a booby. Can't have that. But we will see. Honestly, I'm okay giving a first-round pick for an elite wide receiver. It's not like Beans drafts well in the first round. Anyway, I would be happy if that were to be the case. If we can go ahead and get AJ, or I'm trying to think of some other really good wide receiver like with a team that is just not doing too well. I think AJ is one of the only issues besides that. We have Air Force General Drake May has everything under control. All right, dude, you know what? I'm so glad that you have confidence in your team, as you should. You guys have been playing well, but let's see what you look like here in the next couple of weeks, right? So you have the Tennessee Titans next week, who it should probably be a win for you guys, right? They just fired their head coach. You have Cam Ward is not playing very well. There's issues on the defense. But 3 games in a row, you play the best defenses you have played all year, right? Have the Cleveland Browns, who is arguably, I'd say, top 3 defense. Have the Atlanta Falcons defense, which is very fast. They blitz a lot. Have some good corners, solid people in coverage, solid safeties. And then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are very good in defense as well. So I'm curious to see how you guys play against the league's elite on the defensive side of the football, because Buffalo certainly isn't it. That's practically the whole effing team. Lauren, he's done with it. Kincaid, Samuel, unavailable when Palmer went downstairs. Total change the entire offensive game plan. Normally, I agree with you. However, your rose-colored glasses are affecting your eye test. I'm not particularly sure how my eye test is in question when like my takes are coming from literally watching film, right? And respectfully, right? Buffalo is going against what made them successful last year. We basically have the exact same offense as far as playmakers. Like guys are getting open underneath. That's what Buffalo did last year. Like we took things underneath. We leveraged. We leaned into the run game when that was working. Like we never tried to do something or force things. It's the only logical explanation. It's a hell of a lot more believable than all of a sudden with Joe Brady woke up and he was space jammed and his offensive mind was taken by some alien race. That's not believable at all. Like, not even in the slightest. So that's my thought. I love it. Trade for Chris Olave. Where my dark horse in Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a second year. I really don't think anybody's going away. Dan, it's about time you came around on the whole front office has to go. I'm not happy with McDermott and this coaching staff, right? But I don't think that we need to make any rash moves until the offseason, right? That's what I'm looking at. Does anyone else miss Stefon Diggs? No, not at all. What's up, Dan? How's it going? If the Bills don't get A.J. Brown, is there any other wide receivers that could be a factor? Shaheed, of course, could be interesting. I think Olave, if like you guys want to like roll the dice on his injury history. I think Jalen Waddle would be interesting as well, but that would cost a mint. We'd probably have to send over a first-round pick for a player like Jalen Waddle on this team, and so I think that he could be interesting. Yeah, I think that's it. Dan, you sound too forgiving on the Bills right now. We are an effing mess. Then I feel like you didn't watch my episodes yesterday. Look, so at the end of the day, so I'm not forgiving. What they put out on the field for the past 2 weeks has been inexcusable. All I'm doing on this episode is attempting to go on ahead and diagnose what the issues are and plan a path forward. Right? I have not forgiven how this team has been performing. I am just trying to diagnose what the issue is. Then hopefully we will be able to turn things around. Like, share, and subscribe, and go Bills. That's what I'm talking about. Tush push isn't against the rules. Run it. I totally agree. I see the Patriots with 3 to 5 more win-losses. They still have to play the Bucks, Browns, Falcons, Ravens. We have lost 2 games back-to-back in each of the last, however, many seasons. We are gaining a few players back on the offensive side of the ball. Still think we make first in the AFC East, and we're definitely still making the AFC East division. I agree on this. We should also talk about how the offensive line struggled on Monday. I remember last year we had Alec Anderson come on the field taking snaps as a 6-man and help give extra protection for Allen. So it definitely hurt this Buffalo Bills team that Kincaid was out because we were unable to run 12-man personnel. Like we could have, right? Like with Hawes and Dawson Knox out. But what it was, and credit to Atlanta, they just sent the blitz. And it was rattling Josh Allen. So whether or not that was the reason why he was not taking some of those guys underneath, like maybe that had to do with it. It's largely for some reason him trying to hunt down the big play rather than taking what is in front of him. That is what I'm talking about. Dude, please. It's the fraudulent so-called MVP QB. He fumbled 3 times and threw 3 interceptions in the last 2 games. Ken is upset. Ken is upset with his quarterback. I'm not sure that he's a Bills fan. He's coming from Facebook, so like he could be one of a variety of different fans watching this show. Yeah, dude, like he has not looked good for the past couple of games, and he's not getting a pass on that. But I'd hardly call him a fraudulent quarterback, right? And so I think that that's just some crazy stuff here. We have Jeffrey with a $10 donation. Listen, man, here is my take. We need a wide receiver number 1. We need to stop pretending that a bunch of wide receiver 2s and wide receiver 3s are going close to the AFC Championship. Also, Joe Brady's play calling is less than ideal this season. Interesting. Jeff, I appreciate the $10, man. Thank you so much. Where's the jersey? Good game, Dan. Hashtag rise up. Free game, Zay. Let me tell you what, man. I announced it on my first video after the game. I think his name is Stacky or something like that. He commented on the TikTok video. He won a Bijan Robinson jersey, young man out of Arizona. It's currently being sent his way right now, folks. Right now. I'm a man of my word. I pay my debts. I pay my debts, man. Watching our last loss might have made me physically sick. I haven't felt right since. Hey, man, listen. So you just give it a couple of days and let's see what's going on. And with the everyone needs to take a chill pill, we have looked bad, yes. However, we have defensive reinforcements coming, and our offense was without half of our pass catchers. We are going to have a bad game. Losses to Tampa Bay / Philly left on our schedule. Still have Buffalo going 12-5. Hope that's good enough for the 1 seed. It's not like anybody's running away with the 1 seed right now. Maybe Indianapolis, and they have an interesting matchup against LA next week. In fact, I'll probably go on ahead and do like a rooting interests video for each and every single one of you on Thursday. So like we can really unpack some games here. Look what we did last year. Brandon Beane, Juba 1776. And remember when Brandon Beane went off on the radio after the draft, not looking so good right now. Brando right now. True. Lack of accountability. Horrible tackling. Worst tackling team in the NFL. That is the issue with this defense, is tackling. It comes down to coaching. That's how it is. Question. Trendy. What up, man? How you doing? Why is that McDermott always has to wait for halftime to make changes? I don't know. It's tough. It's tough, man. And do you think that Hoyt and Ogunjobi will have an impact when they get off suspension? I think Hoyt definitely will, for sure. For sure, man. We have been thin at the defensive tackle position almost all season, right? You have TJ Sanders on the IR, had Daquan Jones pull a calf in the pregame warmups. Like, talk about Buffalo Bills luck, right? Having both of those dudes back is going to be key for this team, because Buffalo, like with their overall defensive line strategy, was to have a heavy rotation. I don't think that we've really been able to see the full capability of this defensive line because we haven't been able to operate with the rotation that we intended on based off of all of these injuries. So having these reinforcements is going to be great. We have Yo Swooty saying, I respect Dan's take here. Like, dude, you know what? It's so the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that makes sense. I can't buy into anything else. I don't know. We have Brooklyn. I think we'll be okay after the bye week. You and I both. Get Joe out of here. Force MGM. So I'm not going that far yet. But what I am saying is go back to what made you successful. Stop trying to be like this new, like, oh, like I can go on ahead and make this offense work in a variety of different ways. What made him so good was that he called smart plays. It's not so much creativity from Joe Brady, but he ran a well-rounded offensive attack with intelligent decisions from his quarterback. He basically ended up making Josh Allen a responsible QB, trusted our guys to make plays after the catch. All I'm asking for Joe Brady is to revert back to what made him successful and stop this cute stuff, right? Like maybe he's trying to like add to his resume, right? Since he knows he's probably going to be a head coach next season. And so I don't think you're far off on hunting down the big play, because it's been a few weeks since I've heard that everybody eats. For sure. For sure, man. Dan, with Palmer out weeks, who would you put in at wide receiver 2? Look, man. So I think that if Palmer is out for several weeks, not only so do I think Buffalo ends up going to the trade market for a specific player, I also think that we make Dalton Kincaid our number 1 pass catcher, like once he's all said and done. He was only day-to-day, so we will see. And so I had to take a 3-day break from all Bill stuff. I suggest some of you do the same. Yeah, dude, listen, man. I'm crazy here. So a friend of mine that I message every game went back to last year when we lost 2 straight. And funny enough, we said the same things then that we are all saying now. We got to trust that they can fix it. Right? It's the same thing. What we need to do is look at the similarities from last year's 2-game losing streak and this game's 2-game losing streak and this year's 2-game losing streak. I think Buffalo has walked away from their identity. Playing smart football, right? Being too cute, right? And you can't tell me that Joe Brady looked at this offense and said, hey, you know what? So whatever's working for this offense, I'm going to throw out the window and we're going to try new stuff right now. No. I think that there is a portion of this coaching staff that really believes that we need to hold things back for the playoffs. I really do. Because nothing else makes sense. Nothing else makes sense. And so we basically have the exact same team as last year, who was one of the best offensive production in franchise history. So the only thing that tracks is the game script is the win, not to open up the playbook and pummel each and every single opponent. Let's see. Dan, and do we need to start tanking because the season is over? No. We should give a 3rd and 5th round pick for Olave and Davis from the Saints. Talk about all the penalties the past 2 weeks. That's been an issue. And that comes down to coaching. Look. So we can't be blaming the referees. Because most of the flags thrown at the Buffalo Bills were deserved. It's how it is. It's just undisciplined football. And that comes down to coaching. What makes me feel good is that for the first 3 weeks of the season, this Buffalo Bills team was the least penalized team in the league. So I know we have it in them. But can they get back to it? That's the question. Thoughts on the Addison trade? Hold up. Is there some big news here? And did I miss something here? Let me see. Haven't seen anything about Addison, but I would be interested in Jordan Addison, but it's kind of hard for me to think that they would walk away from him. Well, Joe Brady is not bad. He's just had a few bad games. Don't freak out. Bobby Babich, on the other hand, yeah, for sure. As far as the defense, folks, my call here is I think Sean McDermott needs to take over defensive play calling. In fact, we saw this in something I think which is pretty solid. And this is from Pierre. He's right over at Bills. So he's at Bills Fanatics. So the Buffalo Fanatics, excuse me. But when McDermott was the play caller in 2023, we were 2nd in turnovers, 3rd in touchdowns allowed, 4th in points allowed, 9th yards allowed, and 15th rush yards allowed, 4th in sacks. So if we're true sticklers on the defensive side of the football, the best move for the Bills, and because again, guys, we are not a player away from fixing the personnel of this defense. I mean, we're not. I think how you fix this defense is making Sean McDermott take over play calling. He's good at what he does, man. He's good at what he does. What's going on, Dan? Thanks for getting back to me so quickly. For sure, man. Send over an email. Let me know when you're available. I'm happy to hop on your show, brother. Happy to. Statement. With Palmer being wide receiver 2 being as the perfect out to trade for a wide receiver number one. If the Pats get one more good receiver by the trade deadline, I think we'll be back to chasing the Pats. So you have to look, right? Here, look. Let's take a look at the Patriots schedule. Let's take a look at the Patriots schedule here, right? Okay. So have 20 points was given up from the Raiders. Let me go on ahead and hide this real fast. Bad defense, right? And here, just to kind of show where I'm at here. Just to sort of show where I'm at, so I'm not just talking out of my ass here. And so y'all actually understand where I'm going with here. Let me go to defense real fast. Let me go worst defenses in the NFL. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Where's Las Vegas at? 15th. All right. So this Patriots team lost to the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's week 1, so I will give them credit. Only 13 points. And they ended up playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who have the 15th ranked defense in the NFL per DVOA. That's kind of where they're at right now, right? 15th ranked defense in the NFL. Followed by the Miami Dolphins, all right? And so they put up 33 points against Miami. And when you end up looking at this, the Miami Dolphins are the worst defense in the NFL with a 22.4% DVOA. Moving on. And they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, that team is the second best defense in the NFL per DVOA. Okay. Followed by the Carolina Panthers. They scored 42 points against the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, the Carolina Panthers, they are the 20th ranked defense in the NFL. Okay. So not crazy. 23 points against the Buffalo Bills. And I know a lot of people are mad at this defense, but where Buffalo stands right now per DVOA, we are slightly above average when it comes into DVOA. We are the 12th best defense in the NFL collectively. And say that you don't believe me, and just go on ahead and just look at these past couple of second halves from this team. First half is atrocious. Second half is what's putting us up in the numbers. Followed by this, right? So they have the New Orleans Saints, where they ended up scoring 25 points against the New Orleans Saints. They are the second worst defense in the NFL. So it's not like that they are destroying some of the best defenses in the league. They have gone up against some of the worst defenses in the league. But now you end up looking at the Tennessee Titans, which I think is going to be a pretty quality team that they go up against, right? So you go to Tennessee. Where are these guys? Let me share this here for a second. You have Tennessee, very bad defense as well. And so I think that barring some crazy implosion, I think that the Patriots win this. But then they go up against Cleveland the following game. And when you end up looking at Cleveland, where are these boys right here? 17th worst. And then you end up going up against the Falcons. Where's Atlanta? You have Atlanta right there, 11th best defense in the NFL. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 22nd as far as 6.2. So let's see what they look like. Let's see if they can remain consistent. Let's see. And so our biggest issue right now is dumb penalties. We have been having dumb penalties on massively impactful plays. Sacks taken away. You have turnovers taken away. Defensive stops given away. You are absolutely correct. There's nothing wrong with what you just said, my friend. Look at A.J. Brown or someone, or bring back Gabe Davis. Dude, Gabe Davis, man. We like that. You think we are back because we might beat the Carolina Panthers with a laughing emoji. Little Bolna Cuts is coming on in here with his laughing emojis. I mean, nobody said that we're back. I'm just saying that I'm optimistic that we can turn it around. There's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So weird that the Colts is currently the first seed. Is this the late 90s? It very well might be. We have Kansas City is not that good of a football team. I mean, we're going to see. here in just a couple of weeks. Dan, and do you think we can get Waddle? I don't know if Miami would let him go to a rival, though. We would need to pay a mint for Jalen Waddle to come to the Buffalo Bills. We would ultimately need to send over a first-round pick. That's what we're going to have to see. Question, how do you feel about Cole Beasley? He's been out of the game for about 4 to 5 years. He did great for the Bills, but I think that he's good for now. No, I didn't mean that smiley face. LOL, sorry. Nah, you're cool, man. We have the Bills shot themselves in the foot during the offseason, voting to ban the tush push. We were second best at doing it. Now, if we do the play, it will look like the biggest hypocrites in the NFL. Who cares? Who cares, man? Who cares what you look like? Who cares what you look like, right? It's not like that this Buffalo Bills team is filled with like 14-year-old, like, so a 14-year-old, yeah, sorry, I had an aneurysm right there. 14-year-old girls that care about what people think about them, right? Like, that's why largely, like, as I've gotten into like this content creation world, some people are just like, oh, Dan, like, so you got to be nervous about what people are going to think based off of your takes. No, I don't. And so I don't know who these people are, dude. I could care less what people think about me, especially people that I have no idea who they are, have no say in my life whatsoever. So I say whatever I want, right? I'm not so much concerned about if somebody screenshots like one of my takes and trolls me for it. Like, who cares? Like, who cares? I don't think that Buffalo feels the same way either. Who cares? We have Nick is coming in. If we didn't spend all that money on Von Miller's contract, we would have a bit more spending money to get a high-skilled player on defense. We have people freaking out. I'm not worried. And do you know about Bill's Bunker? I sure do. In fact, he is a co-host over at the Bills Roundtable. And so is it bad to say I don't care about their personal lives like they push Josh's marriage down our throats, like just win me football games? For sure. It's not bad at all, man. But like really at the end of the day, you have to be able to pull in like younger fans that really aren't like crazy into deep analytics for the game. So it's just marketing, dude. Is what it is. Facts don't use it back to back like the Eagles, but use it on short downs like last season. Wouldn't that be great? We're going to have to see. We have Dalton Kincaid on Facebook saying, send me a friend request, fan. Nah, fool. Stay healthy, dude. Stay healthy and maybe I'll consider it. And do you I'm just kidding. This is clearly not Dalton Kincaid. I have no idea who this is. I'm sure it's a scammer like saying, hey, bro, I really need $15 right now. What's your bank account? So do you think McDermott is gone if they don't make the playoffs or don't get to the AFC Championship game? I would certainly be an advocate for that. Will Bills Roundtable be on today? Thursday. It's Mondays and Thursdays for the game. Sports analysts are ignoring all the Bills injuries and suspensions. We are about 7 starters. This team is 6 weeks. Will be a different team and back on top of the East. I love it. If Josh Allen was Superman, then this team don't feel he need one average Avenger. We need a win so I can now know what happened to Grape Davis, Thermos Thomas, and Mole Bishop. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We have David saying, LMAO, I'm dead. Thoughts on the new stadium being opened next year? Thrilled for it, my friend. The Bills need to get that number 1 seed. Look, it's tough for me to find. It's tough for me to find a team in the AFC that is wildly consistent right now. So if anything, as Buffalo has hit their 2-game slide, it's not like somebody is like really gaining momentum for the 1 seed. Maybe you can say the Indianapolis Colts, like maybe, and it's well deserved because they have been playing wonderfully. But we shall see. Dan, I don't know if you answered this, but who do you think we lose when the 2 linemen come back from suspension? So we already have 2 open spots for them already since TJ Sanders and Damar Hamlin have been added to the IR. So we're good right now. We also ended up releasing Chiarlo. So we technically have 3 open spots on this roster. Does that mean that number 1, we activate Maxwell Harrison and his 21-day practice window? And remember, just because he has a 21-day practice window does not mean we have to wait the full 21 days. We can go on ahead and make him eligible for the Panthers game. I don't think that he will be, but that could be a reason why we let go of Charlo. Number 2, we're really thinking about going out and bringing in some additional help. But say that we do bring in a wide receiver, guys, I think more than likely, so the package is going to include Samuel. Likely going to include Samuel and or Elijah Moore to wherever we end up shipping them off, plus some draft compensation. Best guess is we might elevate Gabe Davis. Who knows? I don't know. But there are 3 open spots on this roster, 2 of which are going to be the guys suspended. And we go from there. Bills don't need the 1 seed. The AFC is wide open. I love that, Josh. What's going on, my friend? I love that. Dan, thoughts on 0 penalties for the Chiefs' recent game? I'm going to hold my comment. And so I got Chiefs fan buddies, and they're constantly comparing Mahomes and Josh. I feel like that they're equals, but Mahomes is a better coach. I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. We have Drake May is the guy and has Stefon Diggs as his wide receiver. Let me see. I did not like McDermott telling media that he would look into why we keep pulling Cook out on 3rd down when he's playing well. I feel like he's threw the offensive coordinator under the bus. Need Mad Max. For sure. Let me see. We have Mr. Deschamps coming in. Dan, what's up, my man? What's up with you, bro? What's up with you? I hope all is well. Thoughts on Poyer? He could potentially also be a guy that could be elevated to the 53-man roster. If A.J. Brown comes to Buffalo, he will be a good mentor to Keon Coleman. Get rid of Samuel, trade for a wide receiver, then maybe get a safety or a good DB if we can. So what's up with Coleman 0? Is he out? He's just been playing terribly, man. He's just been playing terribly. We have Paul Costa. He's using clown emojis. No attacking anybody in the chat. Yeah, nobody attacking anybody in the chat. That I do not allow, Paul Costa. Pay attention to your kids, Paul. Pay attention to your kids, for the love of God, all right? Log off for a second, and pay attention to your children. All right. Drake May greater than check down throwing cheater Mahomes. Interesting. It's Parks. Parks! Yo, my boy's got the name change up in here, man. I appreciate that. All right. So Mahomes will never be Tom Brady. With Tom Brady does not make stupid mistakes and gets bailed out by the refs. Spicy take. Dan, so Max sounds like a go for the Panthers game. Could he bolster this defense with his speed? I'm not sure if he's a go, right? First off, he needs to be activated from the IR, and then he has a 21-day practice window. He doesn't need to practice for 21 days in order for him to be eligible. He could very well be activated for the roster and given the nod to go against the Carolina Panthers. I just don't think this team is going to do that, but I suppose we'll see. Hope they do what's good for the team. Bernice, I hope that that's the case myself. Hopefully they move on from Coleman next offseason. He's still on a rookie contract, so he'll be playing. Sign Gabe Davis to the active roster and let Allen pick up where he left off before he got traded to the Jags. The offense is too basic. It's not like the scheme is getting better. Bills need a true wide receiver number 1 to distract. So the defense from the rest of the basic offensive roster, I would love a new wide receiver added to this team. I really, really do. But don't think that there are not opportunities, right? There were so many guys open underneath on Monday Night Football. So many of them. Like what this offense did that made them successful last year is that they took what the defense gave them. And for the past 2 weeks, we've seen Josh trying to revert back to 2019, hunting down the big play. So, yes, I would like a downfield separator, somebody that really is a go-to guy for Josh. But, like, make no mistake, there are almost always options for Josh in the passing game. Sure, it's not sexy. It's somebody wide open in the flat. It's somebody like wide open as the check down. And maybe at absolute maximum, it's going to be a 3-4 yard gain. But you got to take that. That's what made Buffalo successful last year. That's what made the Patriots successful for years, like with Tom Brady, by taking what was in front of him, what the defense gave him. Death by 1,000 paper cuts was made from that New England Patriots offense back in the run. And it blows my mind, too, why we've reverted away from it. So, and the only thing that makes sense to me is that it's being done on purpose. Right, because we have this dumb notion that we need to save things for the playoffs, thinking that we're the Kansas City Chiefs. Get back to fundamentals and what made this team good. Exactly. That's what won him the MVP last year. That's what won him the MVP last year, folks. That's what won him the MVP. And so I'm looking at two possibilities why this offense has completely fallen off of a cliff for the past two games. Number one, and when Joe Brady woke up and lost 20 IQ points overnight, has decided not to do what this offense does best. That's run the football, and that's take what the defense gives them. Or number two, he has this false notion that he wants to pull from the Kansas City Chiefs and just game plan to win rather than game plan to blow the doors off of a team. He's trying to save his playbook. He's trying to put confusing things on tape for when we start getting into November and December football. It's one of two things. Because, folks, we have the exact same offense as last year for the most part. Same exact DNA. It's either number one, like with Joe Brady, has completely forgotten how to do his job. He's lost 20 IQ points overnight. Or this is purposeful, where there's something in these coaches' heads being like, the white whale for us is the playoffs, and we don't want to put everything out on tape so we can save it for the playoffs. I hate that. I hate that strategy. But there's no other, and so there's no other explanation. Zero to me. Let's see what happens. Taking those same checkdowns is why we ultimately lost last year, because that's all we were good at. Even things got tight and we needed a challenge downfield. Sometimes you need more than what is given. I'm fine. Dude, listen, I'm fine with going on ahead and targeting a wide receiver. Fun fact, last year, so the Eagles lost to the Falcons on Monday Night Football. Then the Eagles would go on to proceed and win the Super Bowl. Interesting. Dan, stop ignoring my chats. Trade a fourth and a player for Justin Reed. Trade a third for DJ Moore. Trade a fifth for Cam Taylor-Britt. Sean takes over D play calling. Thoughts? First off, I do my best to get to each and every single chat, man. It's never personal. It's never personal. I have a pretty live and active chat with each and every single time I go live. So nothing personal. So you trade a fourth and a player for Justin Reed, and you trade a third for DJ Moore, and you trade a fifth for Cam Taylor-Britt. Sean takes over D play calling. Thoughts? Expensive, number one. So I do think that we're not one player away from fixing this defense. But then again, I don't know why people are like looking at this team for the past couple of weeks as the defense is the problem. Because for 2 weeks in a row, we have held our opposing teams to 9 points in the second half. And how I opened this show was, say that this was August, and I told you that we held the Patriots to 24 points and we held the Atlanta Falcons to 23 points. Didn't tell you how many points that the Buffalo Bills were going to score. 99% of you would have said that we would have won that game, right? Like 99% of you. Like would have been like, oh, damn. Yeah, you're right. Damn, you're right. So, yes, we have a tackling issue. Yes, we have a penalty issue. Yes, we get gashed by big-time runs, right? But for the most part, like this defense is doing their job. Like, would I like to improve it? For sure. And hopefully Michael Hoyt and Larry Ogunjobi can like help finesse and slowly fix this run defense, particularly up the middle when running backs attack the A gap. Hopefully, right? Hopefully Benford wakes up. Hopefully Taron Johnson wakes up. He starts looking better. Hopefully Maxwell Harrison gets back and he is exactly who we drafted him to be. But say that we make any move whatsoever, I would like to go after a Jalen Waddle. I would like to go after a Shaheed. I would love to go after an AJ Brown if that was possible. But that's my overall thought process. We should sign a 33-year-old defender to a 6-year deal. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Look at our tools on offense. Josh Cook, Kincaid. We're cooked if we don't get a star wide receiver. Not a bum. Senkei Chandler with his daily positivity. How do we know that the Falcons and the Patriots didn't move to a more of a conservative approach to kill the clock since they both had decent leads? So the film wouldn't suggest that. Hancock and Max Harrison and the future of this secondary. I hope so. Oh, yo, Dan, I'm going to the game on the 26th. It's going to have my regular default blue JA17 jersey on. Hopefully we get the win. I hope that's the case for you, my friend. I really, really do. All right, folks. That's going to have to do it. And so I appreciate you tuning in to another edition of the Dow Mafia Report. Oh, Donut in the building, late to the show. What about the safety? Baltimore just released CJ Gardner-Johnson, man. Damn. So I would be interested from a skill set, like sort of mentality, but he's been he's been interesting, bro. He's an interesting personality. I wonder if Brandon Beane would pull the trigger on somebody like that. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I will be live during Fourth and Forever here in about an hour and a half. I love each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for always making this a part of your daily morning routine. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk a little bit of ball here in a second. See y'all. Peace.